Good evening, everyone. Tonight, Western New York remembering one of the darkest days in our region's history. 15 years ago, we lost 50 of our friends, neighbors, and loved ones when Continental Flight 3407 en route to the Buffalo airport crashed onto a home in Clarence Center. That site is now a memorial to the victims as we look live there tonight on Long Street. A half hour ago, dozens of folks gathering there for the yearly ceremony to read aloud the names of those who were killed and to recognize the perseverance of the 3407 families who have fought tirelessly for safer skies by successfully pushing for new laws and regulations on the airline industry. Think of this. I spent some time today going through the data, and in the 15 years prior to the crash of Flight 3407 in February of 2009, there were at least 15 deadly crashes involving U.S. commercial flights, with more than 1,000 passengers and crew members killed. In the 15 years since 3407, there have been 0 deadly crashes involving commercial passenger flights for all of the American airlines. And joining me now is John Nance, aviation analyst for ABC News, an Air Force veteran, longtime commercial pilot. John, it is great to get your perspective on this. And I just want to start with the stat that we shared there. In the 15 years prior to the crash of Flight 3407, there were, by my count, at least 15 deadly commercial plane crashes involving U.S. airlines. In the 15 years since, 0. Your reflections on that?
Well, I'm really glad you pointed that out, because this is one of the most successful forays into improvement in technological society in human history. Actually, we used to never go a year without a major crash, as you're indicating there, with over 15 years. And the 0 since then is a result of our learning something that we had in front of us for a long time but never understood, and that was that people fail. Human factors is 99% of the problem that we have gotten a handle on. Not how to keep people from failing, but how to keep the failures from metastasizing into a crash.
We talk a lot about the rule that pilots now have to have at least 1,500 hours of cockpit training prior to even being, second in command in the cockpit. But there were other changes following 3407 as well. The pilot fatigue, which we know was a big issue in that particular incident. Also, changes dealing with training records. How much safer, big picture, is the industry now compared to before the crash here?
A quantum leap safer, and part of that is a direct result of the accident, as you just pointed out, the focus on fatigue. Now, we had, unfortunately, a group of very, very dedicated survivors and families who forced Congress into making some changes that probably were not as wise as maybe we might think. Whenever Congress gets involved, that happens. By the same token, the emphasis on the fact that these 2 pilots were so fatigued that they shouldn't even been driving, let alone flying, and the fact that the little carrier Colgan, which was operating as Continental Express, was absolutely guilty of paying no attention whatsoever to the physiological needs of their pilots. These were scandalous revelations that have led to massive changes in the way regional airlines fly and the way airlines in general fly.
And John, some of the regional carriers, even in recent years, have blamed the 1,500-hour rule in part for the pilot shortage. I know the pilot shortage is a real thing. Do you think that's fair criticism? I mean, the 3407 families say the proof is in the results here, that it's just a safer industry today because of the changes.
I'll give you a good lawyer-like answer, yes and no. In other words, the 1,500, because it was a hard and fast rule, and there was also a 1,250 and a 1,000, depending on the source of the education, aeronautically. Those were good attempts, but they have hamstrung not just the industry, but they've also hamstrung the performance of people who are trying to get into that position of having enough hours. And I think it's had some fairly bad fallout that's been a direct result. On the other hand, coming up with a minimum like that was a good idea in terms of making sure that we had a better qualified pilot in the right seat and the left seat, and that has been a positive.
Finally, John, those who lost loved ones in the crash of Flight 3407, every year they go back to Washington, D.C., it seems, to keep on this, right, to keep making the industry safer. A big part of their focus now really has nothing to do with what happened here 15 years ago, but with these near misses and dealing with the shortage and all of the stress that's on air traffic controllers. I mean, what do you think should be the focus moving forward in terms of continuing to make this industry as safe as possible?
Well, I think they perform a wonderful service in kicking Congress, what we laughingly call a Congress, because usually it's do nothing and things like this, and kicking them hard in terms of providing enough money and enough advanced notice of how much they're going to have. In other words, not just reapproving them every year, so that the FAA can invest in the number of controllers needed and can invest in the improvements. Now, we're saying that in a situation in which we're almost perfect in terms of performance in North America in terms of safety. But the only way we stay there is if we pay strict attention to absolutely everything that goes wrong and make sure that we do everything we can to make it not go wrong again. Bad English, but good concept.
John Nance has been ABC News aviation analyst for decades now. It is invaluable to get your insight on this, sir. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.